Alright, welcome back to my channel. I've already done my top 10 best movies of 2019, and with every top 10 best movies list comes a top 10 worst movies list. These are my picks for the top 10 worst movies of 2019. This is going to be fun. This is actually the list I have more fun with, because I just love talking about these movies again. Same guidelines apply. These are not reviews. These are just summing up my thoughts. And there are some of these movies that I actually waited till after they were in theaters because I was like, I don't want to see that. But there are some I bit the bullet where I saw them in theaters and I reviewed them when I saw them in theaters. So there won't be. So if you haven't seen, if there are some movies on this list that I didn't do reviews for, I did see them. I rented them on iTunes and I sat through them. Unfortunately. So same guidelines apply. These are not reviews, these are just summing up my thoughts, and this is my personal opinion for this list. You can feel free to disagree or agree, however you feel. I got some honorable mentions. Gonna need my phone for this one again, so for honorable mentions for worst of the year, we have Shaft. Thank you for shafting me of my money. Captive State. I feel like I was held captive in the movie theater, and I can see that a lot of people actually really like this movie. I thought that this was boring and dull and not what I expected. I hated it. Gemini Man. Generic action movie that didn't make any sense whatsoever. I hated that movie too. What Men Want. Wow, pandering to all the men haters out there. Man, I don't know where this movie came from. Serenity! I wish this movie was so bad it was good, but instead it was bad it was bad. And The Haunting of Sharon Tate. This should have actually made the list. I don't know how it didn't, because these 10 movies are way worse. Let's get started with the list. Coming in at number 10 is Miss Bala. Okay, look, I have nothing against female-driven action movies, but when you have a plot that's this lame, when you have action scenes that are poorly filmed, when you have a lead who looks very uninspired, the movie's not going to be very good, and it's not very well directed, it's not very well written. I saw this movie on Super Bowl Sunday, and I hated myself for seeing it on Super Bowl Sunday and missing some of the Patriots game. I don't know why I did this to myself on Super Bowl Sunday. I remember vividly seeing this movie on Super Bowl Sunday, and I was just like, I would literally just watch. I would have watched the halftime show over this movie. I don't know why. This movie just did not sit well with me at the end. I did not like it. Number 9 is The Intruder. Screen Gems strikes a chord once again because they keep creating Fatal Attraction every single year. I don't know what they're thinking with these movies are. This is Fatal Attraction all over again, just this time some guy won't leave his house. He's a creepy stalker. This is the most predictable movie I've seen all year, filled with bad performances, bad dialogue, and some weird editing. I wasn't sure what the hell was up with this movie. Let's just stop talking about it. Number 8 is 47 Meters Down Uncaged. Look, the last 5 to 10 minutes of this movie, I had a stupid, dopey smile on my face because that's what I wanted this entire movie to be. Up until that point, this movie was stupid. It was pointless. The first 47 Meters Down movie wasn't even good, so why make a sequel? Because did that one even make that much money? You cast so many terrible actresses in this movie, and all their characters make stupid decisions, like, who's gonna poke a fish? Like, this would be like, here, fishy, fishy. That's stupid. And fish don't have vocal cords, so the fish screams. There's something fishy with this movie. I don't know why this movie was even made. At number 7, we have The Hustle. Look, I don't know why they keep trying to sell us on these Rebel Wilson movies, but I'm not a fan. She's not that funny. This movie has one funny part, and that funny part was in the trailer. This is a boring, dull movie whose comedy is trying to be slapstick, and it's not funny, and it's comedy it has comedy that is actually trying to be not slapstick and trying to be funny that isn't funny. It's not a funny movie. Hands down. The Kitchen. This was a movie I was looking forward to because I was like, this actually looks interesting. And then I saw the reviews and I was like, that is not what I expected from a movie like this. So I decided to watch it anyway and disregard those reviews. And wow, was I blown away at how bad this was. This is like The Departed with females or The Godfather with females, but way worse. Nothing in this plot makes sense. It is so convoluted and so hard to follow that once you are able to follow it, it makes no sense. And there's so many dull looking shots. Just it feels like the whoever directed this movie just did not know how to direct a movie or make a movie or write a movie or produce a movie or do anything related to the filmmaking process. This movie actually was not released in theaters. This was released straight to VOD, and I am so sick of these Invasion of the Body Snatchers remakes. This one is Assimilate. This actually has the actress from 2018's Halloween. This is why I checked it out because I think she is a good talent. But this movie sucks. That is straight down. This movie, down to its core, I don't know why we keep trying to remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers for modern audiences. This is just a modern day retelling of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and its special effects are not that great. I've seen better VOD movies than this. This was not a great movie, and people in my comments section for this review were just like, I think you're being a little too harsh on this movie. No. The production value, no. Oh, what do you get when you get Limp Bizkit, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst, and John Travolta making a movie? You get The Fanatic. This movie is so bad it's good. This should actually not be on the list. I should actually replace The Haunting of Sharon Tate with this movie, but I just can't believe this movie got made. Like, if you talk about this movie with Fred Durst, he wrote and directed it, he'll tell you that the critics are wrong and it's the greatest thing ever made. John Travolta will probably say that this is his comeback. It's neither of those things. This movie tries to be a comedy, then it tries to be a horror movie, then it turns into some dark, sadistic thriller that I have no idea where it came from. There are so many writing decisions and character decisions in this movie where it's just, where did that come from? That just came out of left field. This movie is bonkers. It's a transcendent experience. Like I said, it's so bad it's good. Go watch it when you get a chance. You'll know what I'm talking about. Number 3 is proof that you should have just let Guillermo del Toro do a Hellboy 3 because the Hellboy remake with David Harbour sucked. This was just a music video. This is what Suicide Squad was. It was just a music video. And they were just like, well, we'll throw in the blood and the guts because that's what everybody wants to see. No, I want a good story, and this wasn't a good story. The only thing this movie taught me is that the Nazis created 3D glasses. We have the Nazis to thank for 3D. Thank you. Even David Harbour can't save this movie. I couldn't listen to another moment of him just going around saying, Dad, every 5 seconds. I hated every single second of this movie. It deserves to rot in hell. Now, my number 2 and my number 1 could easily be flip-flopped. My number 2 was actually my number 1 worst movie of the year for a majority of the year. I'll explain more when I get to my number 1. But this movie was the worst movie of the year. I don't know how anything beat it, but that number 2 movie is Replicas. Yes, this is another cloning movie, but it has special effects that, in my review, I said look like they came out of the 1990s. No, this looks like it came out in 1989 or something. Like, the special effects look like they're 30 years old. It makes no sense. Keanu Reeves is not a good leading man if he's got so many lines of dialogue. That's why he works so well in John Wick, because you can actually buy Keanu as a hitman, and he doesn't say all that much as John Wick. This, when you're giving him, like, speeches and stuff, yeah, Keanu Reeves is horrible. This movie, it's a great idea, but I'm not even going to say poor execution. I'm going to say it's a great idea, atrocious execution. Not very good, and it's just not very riveting. It was very boring, and it was too long. And this movie's only an hour and 45 minutes. It's too long. I said it right there. It's too long. So, Replicas was my number 1 pick for worst movie of the year. It stayed like that since I first saw this movie, and whenever it came out, I'm too lazy to look it up because I really don't care when this movie came out. But this was my number one pick for the majority of the year. That is until I saw my new number one pick, and that movie is the reason why Playmobil is worse than Replicas is because at least Replicas was trying to be an original idea and it was an excruciating failure. Playmobil is worse because it's corporate greed. This movie is horrible. So something I did not mention in my review because it would have invalidated my review, and I'm probably invalidating this as my pick for number one. I walked out of this movie. The first time I ever walked out of a movie, and yes, I sat through Replicas. Playmobil is the first time I ever walked out of a movie, and I'm 25 years old. It took me 25 years to walk out of a movie because I was just like, I've had enough. This is corporate greed trying to capitalize on the success of the Lego franchise. It's what the Emoji Movie was. I really don't know which movie is worse, this or the Emoji Movie. They're both corporate greed movies. And this movie had Daniel Radcliffe as a James Bond ripoff. Every attempted humor in this movie is horrible. I already knew, when I left the movie theater, I looked up how this movie ended because I knew that's how it was going to end. I said in my mind, this is how it's going to end. Let me look it up and see how this movie ends. And that's exactly how it ends. It's the most predictable piece of shit I have ever seen. This is honestly probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Next to the 50 Shades movies and Dragon Ball Evolution, this is actually worse than Dragon Ball Evolution and the Emoji Movie. I think that this might actually be worse than the Emoji Movie. They legit don't know what genre this movie is. They copy everything the Lego Movie does, and they try to make this movie a musical for some reason. I have no idea why. I'm done talking about this piece of shit. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Don't waste your time with this movie. Those are my picks for top 10 worst movies of 2019. I hope you guys enjoyed that list. Though, like I said, that list is the one I have the most fun talking about. Stay tuned very soon for my review of Season 1 The Mandalorian. And I'm also going to be doing a channel update for 2020. I'm going to discuss some new lightings, maybe some new ratings, maybe just get rid of the rating system or the grading system altogether. Not 100% sure yet how I'm going to do that. But there's going to be some updates, some new features on the channel, maybe even a new Patreon. Big surprise for you guys when I hit 1,000 subscribers. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. I will leave my link to my website in the description below. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies. So.